Hello and welcome back. So today I'm just going to be showing you guys how a end level player in Escape from Tarkov PVE sorts their inventory. So yeah, this is just assuming that you pretty much have your hideout completely done. I do. Um, we can take a look at this. I'm actually recording this in between one of my other videos, so that's why I have a bunch of stuff cooking right now in the hideout. Yeah, so as you can see, I have a pretty max level hideout. I think the only couple of things. Yeah, even then that's not max. But yeah, so if you have a max hideout, this is how I would arrange my inventory. So I'll just go down each of the list and I'll show you what we have to deal with. But yeah, so first we have the main, and some of this may be a bit excessive, but I do like to keep extra things. But yeah, pretty much have the key cases. Got labs key cards. This I got a bunch of key cards during the event um, where marked rooms were buffed massively, but I don't think that's the case anymore. Yeah, we have reserve, shoreline, custom mini chains, and then woods and lighthouse. I do sometimes mix the keys too, just cause. And yeah, we have our med items. Mostly we don't really use these actually. Mostly just grizzlies and pro dolls. I try not to die. And I've gotten pretty good at it to the point where I don't really need to use a ton of materials. But yeah, Grizzly Pro Whittle, we have our water items, and then our moonshine case, only one in there. Stun grenades, and then I have my grenades mixed up, as you can see. And then just the regular stuff right here. Just health items and Trimadol SJ6 chest. You never know when you need more SJ6s. And then we have a food item. Again, I don't really use this just because I don't really run back-to-back raids that much anymore. And then we have just our sugar for crafting recipes. And yeah, so that's that one. We have our hatch chest that just has all of our helmets and head items, I guess you would say. Guns, it's kind of messy right now, but usually we have one side of um, USSR guns and then one side of NATO guns, but as you can see, it's pretty messy right now. These are mainly the guns I use. I honestly don't really use any of these besides just for very specific tasks or things. Like if I want to snipe, I'll use either this SV98 or the M700. Sometimes I'll use the AXMC, but ammo for that is a bit hard to get. I'm using AP ammo for that, unfortunately, or fortunately, excuse me. Yeah, I mean the main gun I always use is just the X17. It's pretty easy to get, pretty cheap, honestly. I usually don't use Eastern style guns anymore. I used to be really into them, but I just think they're a lot less effective than their NATO counterparts. So yeah. And then we have ammo. I just have again two sides. We have pretty much the only rounds I will really ever use. Even then, I don't even use 4x6 for the MP7, but for Blackout, I just like to collect it just to make sure I have that. A bunch of hybrid ammo, of course, and then we just have regular NATO. And then this is the only 7.62 by 51 rounds I really use is just M61. I just can craft it, so it's pretty easy. M80 you can buy off the fleet once you get wet job, one of the wet jobs part done. But yeah, and then we have M62 and M9N3 in there. This is 5.56 by 4.5. This is pretty much all I really need. Again, you can craft these, so I have a ton of chests of M855A1, and then M995 I just simply got running labs back to back. You can get a ton of SSA and 995 labs, and then we have just the mags, and yeah, that's pretty much it. For this one, we have a ton of BS. This was during the train event where you could crawl under the train in the Woods Depot and get a bunch of 5.45 ammo and Eastern style rounds. So I just kind of stocked up on that while that event was going. As you can see, pretty high tier level loot. MAIAP is just one again from labs, and then you can craft BP ammo once you get to a certain point in the hideout. Next, we just have our heavy armor. I usually try not to really use heavy armor really unless I'm going with other players or if I really need to. But I usually just use the Baggerlies, honestly. I think they're probably the best, honestly. They're the cheapest and it's really easy to get. So yeah. Next we have plates. You can get the locust plates by buying a certain armor, and then these ones are really good too. But yeah, I just have this pretty much the plate box essentially. When we had the 100% Tagilla spawn or boss spawn, I just went over and farmed Tagilla like crazy and just got as many level 6 plates as I could from him. And then we just have a lab specific chest. This is where I just put med items I want to sell, and then I have medical cases for stuff that I also want to sell eventually. Yeah, so when I do a bunch of lab space, I usually get stims, and so I'll put them in these ones down here. Next, we have a money case. This actually took a while to set up, but essentially just a money case with as much cash as we can currently handle. Since we only have 67 mil, it's not that great, but eventually we will hope to fill all these. Yeah, and then we just have our rare loot items. So like I like to put Bitcoins or any purple items in there. We have our overflow chest. This green battery I usually like to keep just so we can get more Bitcoins, but this is just regular stuff I like to have or sell essentially. Ammo supplies, crafting supplies, essentially water filters for that. We have task items, so like things like markers. This is for a task in the future that I need to do. And yeah. Then figurines, I just have a case of these just because I don't like to sell them, but I also don't really know what to do with them at the same time since I already put a bunch of figurines up in my hideout. Then we have for a thick case, these are just general items like toothpaste. I believe I could actually sell this. Yeah, if I wanted to get another thick case, I could. But yeah, and then we just have a bag chest, with just partisan bags and just regular bags like that. So yeah, that's pretty much my hideout. As you can see, it's pretty simple, honestly. Of course, we have an attachments chest where I just put random attachments I don't really need. I mean, you don't even really need this. I just like to put sights in here, especially thermal sights. Um, then just a selling box, and then dog tag for NATO and dog tag for bear. Um, and that's really the main gist of it, is just like making sure you're really only keeping the stuff that you actually really need or use. As you can see, my kit is all stuff that I could just rebuy. I guess the only thing that I can't rebuy are these level 6 plates, and the baggerly, and that's about it. Otherwise, everything else you can rebuy. But yeah. And if we scroll to the very bottom, I just have the kappa items, and a couple of repair kits. So yeah, that's kind of how I guess a veteran player would sort his chest. And yeah, as you can see, these are my stats. 9-10 days online, about almost a year of this account. I just got this back in last year. But yeah, as you can see, it's pretty easy. Right now I have a pretty high survival streak. I like to keep a high survival streak, so I usually run raids, like reserve or labs. Labs is pretty easy if you just stay in the like the back of the map, like near residential black and green. And that'll be another loot guide I'll have out in a minute. But yeah, so this is pretty much all I wanted to show you guys. I really don't think you really need that much stuff. You could even get rid of most of these um, item cases, I guess, or the scav boxes. And honestly, a lot of these plates probably you don't need it, but that's how I sort my stuff. If you'd like to see another video, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.